Okay, we're out here with Graydon, and we are trying to figure out the placement of the eye bolts that need to go in through the top of the hangman little T here. So what we want to do is these truss cables bolt into the eye bolts, and then they come down over here and are tied down to the base feet of the adjacent rack, and they're tied down with the turnbuckles here. Now, the trick is we need to make sure that the height on that is such that it's not too low, because then we won't be able to tighten it far enough to do any good. If we go too high, we won't be able to get it on, and it'll be too far. So there's a happy medium in there. We're doing this on the bottom here, and Graydon, kind of walk me through what was your logic here in doing this on the ground first?
Yep, so we have this set up so that it is exactly how it should be on the roof. And then we can put a measuring tape on it right here and get exactly the measurement we want so that these will fit perfectly. But the reason we don't do this we try not to do this on the rig is because when you're up there and you've got everything set up and you have to drill a hole in the top, you get metal shavings all over. And typically we've got some waterproofing down when we do that. And we want to try and keep anything out of the waterproofing that we can, because it's sticky and creates a mess. And then also it's just a lot easier for us to drill holes down here and throw the eye bolts in already, rather than have to go around the entire outside of the rig and drill each one individually. If we have them already pre-done, then we just have to put the cabling up there once we get up there. So it's a lot easier, a lot less labor, a lot less time. Saves us money, saves you money.
Yep. And I think we have the luxury on this RV that we're currently working on, that the roof is very, very flat. It's a full profile RV.
Yeah.
And so every one of these racks, once we get the right height and measurements, we just are able to crank them out identical, keep the thing really flat across the top. Yep. We have had installations where it's not a full profile and has that slant going off the back of the RV. And in those situations, we weren't able to drill these first because each cable is going to be slightly different.
You have to build the cables differently, and then also you have to build the racks each custom so that they line up, and we can keep the panels nice and flat to give you the best exposure to the sun we can.
Well, thanks, Graydon, for letting us kind of see and experience that here with you. So when this goes on the roof, we're going to be able to, these will be laid up there. We then square it up. We bolt down the first couple to then ensure everything is good to go. And then we have a good stable, setup going afterward for the next racks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, great. Thanks, Graydon. Appreciate it. And then if you want, we can take a look over here. I'll show you real quick, kind of a closer view of how these all came together. They've already gone through and attached the saddle bracket assemblies to the racks themselves. You notice we've kept them loose. We do that until we get the actual panel put in place. And then once we get the panel down, we actually just tighten two of them to then verify everything. But this allows you to have a little bit of adjustment as needed to be able to make sure that those panels sit where nice and pretty. So what we'll do is the panels will sit right next to these posts. And we want to make sure to maintain about a 1/4 inch gap from the post to the panel on both sides. And this allows us that functionality there. But what's kind of fun is you get to see the saddle bracket assembly right here. You can actually see the saddle bracket spacer in there as well. We have the lower swing arms and then all the bolts holding those together. The only thing you're not seeing here is the upper swing arm, which is then affixed to the panels themselves. So in fact, let's go take a look at those real quick. We'll kind of see some of the prepped panels for that. These guys have been busy. They got these all set up. These are some of the 6 of the panels going up on this next installation. Here are the upper swing arms that are going to be joining up with the lower swing arm to allow for that pivoting action with the panels. You can also see in here these solar panel support brackets. They've been installed. And with that, you'll see right here in the middle, we have those 2 fasteners that are used to affix this to the panel itself. You may be asking why we don't do it on the outside edges. We want to be able to allow this to flex and float to some degree, to allow for any hard jars that happen on the road. But we want to make sure that when we install this, we're keeping the distance between the two sides about the same, so it has that ability to flex a little bit. But yeah, these guys have done a really good job. These will be going up here once we get the racks all squared out and put together. So they've done some good work.